Welcome to Grandmasters, day 60 of the journey towards champion. Today's going to be a bit of a shorter video, just me updating you on how the day went. I'm extremely tired. I almost forgot to record the recap. I cannot believe that I'm still recording a recap, so being so sick and tired and playing 2 games in a day and preparing and all this stuff. So today in the first round, I actually played probably one of the great games of my career. It was a started out with my opponent playing the Carol Khan again. It was the second game in a row where I faced the Carol Khan. Surprising me, eventually we go trade queens, we go for an endgame, and I actually am at the beginning slightly worse in the endgame. Eventually I equalize. From this equal endgame, I slowly outplay my opponent in a very, very nice fashion, showing some amazing maneuvering ideas, some very slow plans, and a lot of sort of slow motion swindling and maneuvering in the spirit of Karpov and Petrosian. And eventually, I broke with the pawn break c4 after maneuvering and improving all my pieces. And at that point, my opponent sort of collapsed under the pressure and made a very big mistake, leaving his bishop trapped in the center of the board on e4. So after that, I was then paired with black against the young Turkish prodigy, and it was obviously clear that he wanted to force a draw. I had checked that he plays the queen c2 Nimzo, and after the third move, I realized that if I went for the Nimzo Indian, that he would be forcing a draw at all costs. So I tried to complicate matters to the Carlsbad, only trying to overcomplicate things and running into a three-move repetition. And if I had tried to avoid the repetition that my opponent forced, I would have had a much worse position that I was completely unfamiliar with, and I was unaware with the evaluation. So things could have, it could have backfired quite easily. So I decided just to take the repetition and to take some rest and drew the second game. It's quite unfortunate that the two evening games, first is drawn in 10 moves, second drawn in 13 moves, but when you're black against a very strong player, they don't want to take any risk. They just have so much theoretical knowledge that they can sort of just rely on to keep the game under their control. And for me to try and fight against that, I would have taken an extreme amount of risk. But in every single position, there is some way to liquidate or some way to, because if I go for the, a very crazy opening, there's always ways to liquidate. It's very, very difficult to go all out if your opponent is, insistent on forcing a draw. So that leaves me with 6 out of 7 points. So other than the two quick draws, I've won all 5 games and I've had chances to win. We have 2 games left. Obviously, there's 3 people with 6.5 out of 7 leading. It is a 1,000 player tournament, so to win it is takes a lot of luck and it's quite random, like winning a Tunnel Tuesday. No one consistently wins Tunnel Tuesdays, and obviously I'm a half point behind, so I would probably need to win my next 2 games tomorrow to tie for first. I would assume that 8 out of 9, which just for you guys, 8 out of 9 in any chess tournament. I scored 8 out of 9 in Croatia, which is an round robin event, which is just out of this world. But 8 out of 9 in any tournament is ridiculous. So obviously, if I manage to score 8 out of 9, it would be a big accomplishment. I think at least scoring one win and one draw would also be quite reasonable. I'm gaining some rating. I have a decent performance. So obviously, I'm going to try to win. I'm playing white against Frederick Swann tomorrow, 26-20, a strong opponent. So that'll be very, very important to try to win the game. But obviously, I'm here to play good chess. Not, you can't go all out for first place when it's unrealistic and then it can backfire quite easily. And I'm obviously not in the best shape, sort of physically, considering I did take the antibiotics, which did help things improve a bit. But towards the end of my first game, I felt like I was going to throw up, and I was going to the bathroom, like blowing my nose, coughing. Um, I felt very, very sick, and obviously in the second game, I really couldn't play. So I'll try my best to sleep well and to have energy for the morning games. I've been playing well. Even I'm playing really, really well, considering everything. So I guess I'm sort of like, Michael Jordan flu game, where I'm trying to take inspiration from Kobe Bryant, playing games without any sleep. It's character building. It's good for the general improvement, and obviously I'm playing good chess, and obviously if I don't lose games, I'm going to be a very dangerous opponent for anyone in the world. So hopefully I can win the next 2 games tomorrow. Be first. Then I'm off to Menorca. I'm quite worried about flying to Menorca, considering my ear situation. The doctor told me that since I have a middle ear infection in both of my ears, that flying shouldn't cause damage to my ears, but they said that it could be quite painful to fly with a middle ear infection in both ears. So I'm mentally preparing myself for the excruciating pain that awaits me on my 2 flights. I have to fly to Mallorca, and then from Mallorca, I have to take a short flight to Menorca. I prefer to take a ferry, but I'm not sure that if I can make it to the game in time if I take the ferry. Obviously, I prefer to avoid all flights at all costs, considering the eras. Obviously, most people after the second round would have withdrawn from the tournament. Most people would not go play the next tournament, but I'm not most people. I'm Hans Niemann, and I'm going to overcome whatever obstacles I face. And this is just a simple learning experience. It's a little bump, but I'm still playing good chess. Like if I took it so badly and I just collapsed, then maybe that would show that I'm not cut out for this. But clearly, I'm able to perform so well under ridiculous amounts of pressure. Uh, you know, then I think that's a good sign for the future, and it'll be an advantage over my soft, weak opponent who have not experienced any trials and tribulations throughout their life. So, perhaps at the end of the tournament, I will do a meeting with all my fans, because after every game, I've been bombarded by people asking for photos and autographs. Um, it's especially difficult when I'm because it happens after the first game, and after the first game, I've played for 5 hours, and I only have a very short amount of time to go rest before my game. So I don't really. Of course, I'd like to take photos and sign autographs, but for me to stand there for like 10 minutes doing that, you know, it's quite tiring after such a long game. So perhaps after the game, I will set a specific time and place for everyone to come take a photo and get an autograph. So because I'm getting a lot of messages from people, it's just that the timing is quite difficult. And if I take one photo, then 50 other people come ask for a photo, and that can be quite time consuming. I'm very sick. I don't want to get anyone else sick. I don't think I'm contagious, but obviously that's that. So thank you guys for watching the video. I'm going to crush tomorrow, and the journey continues. This is day 60, I believe, and it's going. I think, guys, that I'm going to become world champion. I've already manifested it on day 361 at the world. I think it'll be the World Blitz Championship. I think this year at the World Blitz Championship, I'll become world champion. That's me prophesizing, my usual insanity, and I'm sure many chess players will laugh, joke, and all these commentators are like idiots making these jokes, blah 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 blah. And you may laugh now, but I'll have my time.